Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is The Wise Ones. And today we're going to be talking about something that I'm so glad is being brought out into the open and on this platform. As women, how do we advocate for ourselves when we are diagnosed with serious illness? This is so important, and we have someone here who will share her story and give us perspective and insight. Before we bring her out, I want to welcome my co-host, colleague, and friend. Mr. Red O'Loughlin has been my book coach for my first two books, the only books I have so far as I work on my series of children's books. I'm working with Red also. And Red is a co-host of this show. He is also one of our expert presenters on our Talking Heads platform. He has his own show, which is coming up right after this. He'll be discussing stress and health. He's also been certified by me as an elevated listener after completing my Power of Listening course. And he is, in addition to that, starting a health panel here on our platform. Let's welcome Mr. Red O'Loughlin to the program. Hi, Red.
Howdy, Dr. JACALYN. Just another wonderful day in paradise today, eh?
Absolutely. Every time I see you, I feel a sense of peace and calm, Red. You are a very stable, disciplined person. And I just have to thank you so much for all the health tips that I've learned from you. I'm still doing the intermittent fasting every day, and my health has gotten much better. So thank you for that.
I totally appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Red, before we bring out our fabulous guest, Viki, I want to spotlight you. And I just mentioned to you, we're now on, as of today, I didn't make an announcement, but we're officially on 2 more radio channels. So that's 5. We have new people joining us on our 11 TV platforms and our 6 podcast platforms. Who is Red O'Loughlin, and what are some of the fabulous things in your life that you just are so proud of that you'll share with us today?
Well, probably number one, here in less than 4 weeks, it'll be 54 years with my wife. We started way back when, 57 years ago. We dated for almost 3 years and got married. And July 4th weekend, actually the 3rd, we got married on the 3rd because that was, we could take the entire weekend off and then some extra time too. So it worked out very, very nicely. But the 3rd of July will be our 54th wedding anniversary. But 31 plus years in the Navy, flying for 16 of them, been to 61 countries in the world. I'm a researcher. I delve into the human body. I look at the cellular level. Chemically speaking, I look for cause and effect relationships, treat a cause, fix a problem, treat a symptom. You'll always be treating symptoms. And so I concentrate on that. I speak on those topics. I write on those topics. I have several books out. My specialty is longevity. And I also help people get their books written, as with Dr. JACALYN and several other people. And so if you have questions about writing and publishing a book, we did a series not very long ago on how to write and publish your book for free on the Talking Heads segment of USA Global TV and Radio. And today we're going to follow on the topic of stress and your health. And I think that's enough to start with for today.
All right. I know we could go on and on. We could spend a week just reviewing all of your accomplishments. And congratulations on your wedding anniversary. That's really special.
Thank you.
All right. So I would love for you to give an introduction about our guest. She is truly an inspiration. When I read her backstory, I just thought to myself, we need more of this. We need women supporting women. No offense, Red, but we do need women talking about things that we don't want to talk about because we were told you're not supposed to talk about that, or nobody wants to hear about that. Just put on a smile and show up and look pretty. So if you would introduce Viki, I'd really appreciate it.
Certainly. Viki Zarkin is a motivational speaker. She has a company called I Am the One. And the biggest thing that she's known for is she's probably one of the few people in the world that survived a stage 4 metastatic cancer. And she's going to be telling us a lot about that here in today's show. But she's available to speak in various groups. She was diagnosed in her 40s with this particular type of breast cancer. And they just basically said, go home and get your affairs in order. And that was not in her plans. And so she's going to talk a lot about that today, hopefully. And so, Viki, please join us.
Hi, Viki. Welcome to the show.
Hi, welcome everybody.
You know, I see you and backstage, I just felt the positive energy of a beautiful smile and your face is radiating. And from what we just heard from Red, it's hard to believe that could have been about you. It seems like that story was about someone else.
Oh yeah, it was about me. Pretty crazy too, really crazy. I mean, I had been getting, I knew it at the point that I had breast cancer. And so we were just sort of ironing out a plan. I was sent to Johns Hopkins, which, just to give you an idea, is about 2 hours from my home here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And so, we're going back and forth quite a bit, trying to get a feel for staging and treatment and so forth. So when I got to Hopkins finally for my last visit, and they said, okay, we've filled in the very best oncologist for you. He's waiting to see you, and you're set to go. So, my mom, my husband and I called us the Three Musketeers. We went in after 2 months of testing, and, he was very robotic. He didn't really look at me. And he, went on to say how he had conferred with all his colleagues, and it was their unanimous decision that there's nothing that they can do for me, and I needed to go home and get my affairs in order. And I was literally like gobsmacked. My husband and my mother started crying. They were to my left. And like I snapped. The Viki that walked in the room that day left. And another Viki came in place. And I lunged across the room and grabbed the doctor by the neck. And I was just so outraged. I just said, I'm going to be the one. I'm going to make it. I don't care what you cut off me. I don't care what you stick in me. I'm a mom. I'm going to make it. I've got kids. And then, I realized I had my hands around somebody's neck. So I pulled back and the room was really, really quiet. And finally he looked at me for the first time, and he looked up and he said, all right, why don't we try chemotherapy first? I'm not promising anything. We'll see how you do, and we'll go from there. Is that okay with you? And at that point, I was like, yeah. It was okay with me, because I knew then pretty quickly that I was going to have to advocate for myself. He definitely thought I was going down, circling the drain. And I knew there was nobody that was going to raise my children but me. So I had a lot of work to do.
Viki,
Wow.
about 7-8 years ago, my wife had this lump in her breast, very small, and sometimes you could feel it, and 5 minutes later you couldn't feel it, and this went on and on. And after almost a year, we find, okay, fine, we can feel it consistently. Mm-hmm. What kind of symptoms did you have that can pretty much said, hey, I really need to see a doctor about this?
That's a really good question, because I had been getting mammograms on a regular basis from a young age, because I had a benign issue, totally unrelated, in my mid-20s. So I was already getting regular mammograms. And to back up a little, at that point in my life, I had been diagnosed, believe it or not, with another issue around then. I had been getting horrible headaches and so forth. And they diagnosed me with giant cell arteritis, which is a whole other long story that you don't want to hear today. But when I was diagnosed with such a bizarre disease, I thought, okay, I've been dealing with this for 8 months now. I'm 6 months behind in my mammograms. Let's just check the rest of my body out. And it just so happens to further answer your question. I do and I was self testing in the shower every morning, which I highly recommend for women, because most women can really find a lot of their issues, as you and your wife did for you. So what I had done then was, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. I went in and got all of that taken care of. And they found out, they sent me back and forth, but I got a call soon after that from my my doctor, and he said right away, "You have breast cancer." Because I'd felt that there was something wrong with my left breast when I was self-testing, but I wasn't 100% sure, because like yours, it wasn't just a regular lump. For me, it was attached. It was so huge, and it was attached actually to my nipple. So it was like took over my whole left breast. So it was just one big, huge lump. I knew it felt different. I just didn't know why. And for me, I was riddled in cancer. I mean, it was all through my mediastinum, my neck, my mammary glands, my chest, all through my left breast, like 30 lymph nodes and so forth. So, when the doctor said that there wasn't much hope for me, it's not that he was wrong. It's just that I wanted to live more than, the diagnosis declared. So I really had to, fight hard. I mean, I fought really hard, a good 2 years, fighting a battle that in my book, it's very difficult to understand, because quite honestly, I didn't start writing my book, until my 10th year anniversary. And your mind is a beautiful thing, and it doesn't remember things that I guess it thinks that you can't handle. And I believe that was the case for me. So when I was writing the book, all of this that I had done to keep myself alive and to fight for me, I had like no recollection of what I had done to get from point A to point B. So my memory started coming back as I was writing the book. And so it was a very difficult time writing the book and realizing what I had physically gone through. Fighting with insurance companies, creating a whole second treatment plan for myself that was against what the doctor had recommended. And that's scary when you're told you're going to die and you have to make a decision. Do I go with the very skilled, very well-versed doctor, or do I go with my gut? The bottom line is the doctor was fabulous, but he sometimes only has so much at his disposal. And it's up to someone like me to do my due diligence and figure that out, and then know that I had to go someplace else for my radiation treatment, or I would have died of congestive heart failure. There was just too many organs involved.
Wow.
So I really had to fight.
I'm just speechless at what you have gone through, and I can't even imagine. And you're a mother, so you still have your children, and you're a wife, and you're a daughter, and your mental health had to be in jeopardy because of all these tough life decisions that you had to make. What did you decide to do after the doctor said, "Okay, we'll try radiation"?
Well, the radiation that he wanted to try was radiation that's scatters. And see, at Johns Hopkins, they only had the photon radiation, which is the big blast, the scatter, and it goes in one side and out the other. So in my particular case, all my organs, I had cancer in the left ventricle of my heart, I had cancer in my left lung. Very important, to live, those two organs. So what I needed to do was not have them zapped with radiation. So I talked a doctor into doing proton radiation for me. And that was never done before, especially in such a large area. And it's still really not done today because I'm told I'm the only one alive with my particular aggressive form of cancer, which is a lot of responsibility in itself on my shoulders. But so the proton radiation stops on a dime and it can go around the organs because it's a pinpoint radiation. It's normally used for prostate cancer, brain cancer, very small areas. My area was very large. So you can imagine how many different pinpoint mappings they had to do for me. It was quite extensive, over 200 hours of mapping prior to me even getting there. Then you've got the molds, and I mean, this science thing where they had me up into like high in the air, like a football field up. I mean, scary high, and a really, really narrow, tiny little table. So the treatment was a lot, but quite honestly, I attribute that treatment to saving my heart and lung. My lung was only damaged by 5%. So that's a good reason why I'm here today. And also I think I never ever believed that I was going to die. I mean, I hit that ground running. I was determined to raise my children. So I think, for me, I had the luck of my own self and me trying to fight for me and my family. And then I did have the fortunate benefit to have a doctor that was willing to do this other treatment on me, that even though proton radiation is not a new treatment, it was sort of new for me and for the way it was done or the way I was treated. So I was very fortunate to have been able to talk that doctor into treating me. It is a lot of balance,
I'm trying to picture what you described up in the air. That must have been, I guess you just
harrowing.
said to yourself, I'm going to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, and it was harrowing. And if to give you an idea, it was, horrible because he mostly did children with brain cancer. And he made an exception for me. So all the people in the waiting room were all young children, and it was brutal to watch. And they all had to be put to sleep for the treatment because you had to remain so unbelievably still, and they easily could have fallen off and fallen to their death. It was so high up. So it was an interesting time, but I always look on the positive side of things, and it turned out that particular stage of my treatment landed during mostly summer months. So I packed up the kids and my mom, and we all went to Indiana for the treatment. And I was fortunate enough to have a very generous and kind mother who rented us an apartment. And, the kids had a blast. I signed them up for YMCA classes, and and they went kayaking and all kinds of stuff. And I got to be with my children, even though I didn't do a lot of those daily activities with them. We were together as a family, and my husband came in, and it just makes things easier. The doctor said to me something that I think is really important. and mindful for people to understand. And he said to me, the patients that have the best outcome are the patients that have someone waiting for them in the waiting room, whether they need to be there or not. And I always had someone waiting for me in the waiting room. I'm a very lucky girl. I have a motto, and I always say, I'm the luckiest girl around. I just happen to have cancer.
Did you do any hormonal treatments in addition to the chemo and radiation?
Another excellent question. My part of my chemo was an estrogen driven chemo. Therefore, I have not been able to do anything hormonal since then. And in fact, I'm on chemo for life. So I get it every month, and I've been so for the last 12 years.
My wife was an estrogen positive. She had stage 2, but
Oh,
the drug that they gave her after she finished everything and was the side effects weren't very good. So we went to a natural uh, option. Indole 3-carbinol is found in surface vegetables, and they can isolate it, and basically it provides the body with the inhibition to reduce the estrogen levels. And so, from a natural perspective, that's worked out very, very well for the last several years, and she just maintains that.
well, I learn something every day. I should have the name of that drug. Maybe you can send that to me in your free time because I'd love to run that by my doctors. I don't know if I'd be a candidate, but it's always worth exploring. I'm always, every day's a fight. I have all kinds of side effects from the chemotherapy. I've got rheumatoid arthritis, osteoporosis, sarcoidosis of the lung. Um, I have many, many joint problems, and so forth. So I'm in great pain every day, but I'm not a lie around kind of person. The pain is going to be there whether you're lying around or whether you're up doing and helping people. And I just wanted to make my time more valuable. I mean, when you're given a death sentence and by the grace of God, you're still here, I just feel that it's our responsibility as humans to share our knowledge and what we've learned to help others. And all I want to do now is help women in healthcare. I have my regular website, iamtheone.com, but I also have an organization that I've started as well, nicely called lungeforhealthcare.org. How cool is that name? But the premise of Lunge for Healthcare, excuse me, is we ultimately want to change some of the insurance companies' insurance dollars for women's health. Women's health has really taken a back seat. In the healthcare industry. And we had a lot of provisions that the insurance companies were paying for that over the years they've dissolved. And what I want to do is show them how they can save more than enough money to bring those services back. And my feeling is you can save it. My recommendation is saving it two ways. One, I encourage women to follow all their instincts, their own instincts, when it comes to their health care, because we know our bodies better than anyone. You need to listen to your bodies. And then number two is we ask doctors to listen first and then diagnose. So maybe the first 5 minutes that they come into the operatory or the medical room, you ask the patient what she is feeling, what she understands to be the problems with her body, then get into the, some of the other things. But I find that if you listen first, we can have so much more preventative medicine, less cutting, less pill popping, all that sort of thing that is heavy in women and healthcare and that sort of industry. And with that, a lot of insurance dollars can be saved. So then I ask, let's appeal Congress. Let's appeal the insurance companies. Let's get our mammograms back at 35 and 40. Let's get our pap smears back every year. Do we even realize that they've changed it to every 2 years? I mean, there's so many things that they've done subtly that a lot of women don't notice. You can pay for your own ovarian screening for $100, and you can die so easily from ovarian cancer. And it's such an easy blood test for $100. So, I just want to encourage women to stand up for those things, to listen to their bodies, and to stand up for themselves.
Very well said. Very well. Dr. Jacalyn, I think it's almost time for a break, isn't it?
Yes, it is time for a break. Thanks for the reminder. And Viki, when we come back, I would love to have you read from some sections of your book, if you would like to do that.
Sure.
Okay, fabulous. All right, we're going to take a break and hear from a couple of our sponsors, and then we'll be right back on The Wise Ones here at USA Global TV and Radio.
Every day, it was the same old story. I worked hard to make sure no one noticed what I was dealing with, but my stomach never cared where I was. And the pain just kept coming. After too many close calls and even weight loss, I had to do something. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation helped me realize what was going on and even helped me find a specialist. Don't hide your symptoms. Get help at spillyourguts.org.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Wise Ones here at USA Global TV and Radio. We're just about to get back to the next part of our show, and I just wanted to give a shout out to the Crohn's Colitis Foundation. Our big walk in Philadelphia is taking place on Sunday. My team, Dr. J's Colitis crew, will be gathering, and we will be walking together, and we will be broadcasting live. USA Global TV and Radio will be broadcasting the event live. I've been a patient with ulcerative colitis since 1991. I'm sick almost 6 months of every year. So this walk has a lot of meaning for me. And I hope that you will get involved. You can go over to my Facebook page, JACALYN KERBECK, and you can look for the Take Steps Walk and donate or join our team. It's not too late. Come to Philadelphia and join us on Sunday. All right, let's get back to the show. Joining me is my co-host and colleague, Mr. Red O'Laughlin. Hello. And our special guest, who is sharing with our audience, especially women, giving us direction and advice from her own experience, how we can advocate for ourselves when we've been diagnosed with a serious illness, or just in general, how we can advocate for ourselves. Welcome back, Viki Zarkin.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you.
Thanks for staying through the break. Very nice.
Of course.
So, Viki, I would love if you would read from your book and tell us part of your story through what you've written.
Okay. Well, here is what the cover looks like. Isn't it an awesome cover?
Love it.
Yeah, right? Cool.
Fabulous.
And I have to say, Mr. O'Laughlin, I would have liked to have spoken to you before I had to go through all the money to publish this. So I guess I should have talked to you first when you talk about printing for free. I'm thinking, my goodness, I should have spoken to you first. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So here is one segment of the book about my first day at chemotherapy. I start saying, on my first day of chemotherapy, I was armed with the most wonderful green velour blanket my mom bought for me. She does her research as well, and she was told that I would get very cold. I appreciated her research and her beautiful green velour blanket because the minute the needle entered my vein and they released my medication, it was like ice entering my veins, sending instant shivers through my entire body. So, yes, I was very grateful for my mom's comforting green velour blanket. Then, fortunately, that was about the time they slipped me a Mickey, and I fell thankfully asleep through the worst of it. Chemotherapy was grueling, long, and arduous. Each week it would build and build, and I would get sicker and weaker and paler. It became more and more challenging. The very high doses of steroids I was taking for other problems, which we had discussed earlier, created side effects that conflicted with the effects of the chemo. I was puffy from the steroids, but pale and flaxen skinned from the chemo. My appetite was all over the map. The steroids made me hungry, but the chemo made me sick and nauseous. I was a mess. There were lots of mood swings and bouts of fatigue. It was a very confusing time. It took all my concentration to keep my calm around my children. That in turn sapped so much energy that I barely had any patience. You see, this was the cycle. The steroids do crazy things to your brain. So that, with all the other medications, was making me a little crazy. I'll read you another passage, which is kind of one of my favorites. My mom and I had the next exhausting task of looking for a place for us all to live. This was during my second phase of treatment that I'm referring to, when we all went to Indiana for the radiation phase of treatment. So now it was just for us. It would have been a much easier operation, but I wanted to bring the kids and my husband. Why not? So mom and I set about making my dream come true. We figured we would need at least 3 bedrooms, furnished, for about 4 months. Not an easy feat. My energy by now was next to nil as we set out to look in the neighborhood. Now, bear in mind, this is only 3 weeks after my radical mastectomy that I flew out here. We had about 3 places on our list. The first place was yucky. That made us nervous right away. The second place only had 2 bedrooms, but it was very nice. We liked it, and we were really tired. So we started to get a bit punchy. You know, mom and I, when we get tired, we get punchy. So look out. Oh, how silly and a bit giggly in all very incoherent way we were quickly becoming. Look out now. Oh, my mom discovered a closet in the apartment. Now, you must understand, you would have thought she found the Messiah. She was so proud of herself. Look, Viki, hurry, come quick. You have to see this. I found the perfect place for the children to sleep. I'm like, okay, mom, coming. Where the heck are you? Oh my goodness. My very mostly proper mother in her 70s is lying in the middle of a very, very long closet with a very large smile on her face. I thought she went wacko for sure. Oh my goodness, you need help, Mom. She says, no, look. See how long and deep the closet is? Yeah. Do you get it? It's perfect for the kids. What are you talking about, Mom? You want to put my kids in the closet for a summer? Are you nuts? Viki, look, it's big. Measure. And oh my, I did. I measured. My mother laid down and I measured her length. Then we measured her again. And darn it, those peanuts would probably have a ball in there. I helped her up. We sat down. We thought about it rationally and said, we can't put the kids in a closet. So there's more fun to the book. It's not the scary, uh, full of, you know, terminology and things like that that's unrelatable. It's my real life story. And I don't leave anything out. I talk about all the things that hurt but I talk about my family and the love that I had for my family and the support that I received from them all along each step of the way. And so there's a lot of laughter in the book. And there was goals and family events that I wanted to make and I had to be healthy for it. So I had goals and I had determination. And I hope everybody will buy the book either on my website or Amazon, my website, iamtheone.com, because it's a really great read. And a portion of the proceeds are going to the organization that I started to support women in healthcare.
Thank you,
Nicely done,
Viki.
Viki.
I'm going to buy your book today. So
Oh, I would really appreciate that.
and
Thank
I'll
you
read
so
it
much.
and have you on and we'll have a chat about it.
That would be
Fantastic.
great. I would love it. I would love to come back. That would be
Viki,
I
you
just
also
love your personality.
Thank you.
Viki, you're also a motivational speaker. We're getting toward the end of our program, and I'd like to have you kind of highlight, where do you speak at? Is it virtual? And so people know if they get in touch with you through your website, what is your motivational part of your business? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, being a broadcast journalist, having that background, I felt that I could reach people by speaking. And the larger the group, the better, because the more people that I can reach, the better. Of course, during the COVID time, I've been doing most of my speaking on Zoom, which I'm more than happy to do if anyone prefers that. But I love to be there in person. I love to connect and see people and help and motivate people. I ask questions. I'll go out in the audience. I talk to everybody. So I really enjoy speaking, and quite honestly can speak on other things besides my own story. I speak to women and how you should appreciate, well, with all people really, how you should appreciate the little things in life and bringing back the belly laugh. I talk about the importance of that, and then the different opportunities in healthcare, and then of course the struggles for healthcare. um, but I can talk to a group of businessmen in sales and help them learn about themselves so that they understand their product better and can motivate their sales team. So I can be a keynote speaker. I'm very easy on my feet and, just like to share whatever I can with people. And, just for growth and quality of life.
Do you have a YouTube channel or anything people could go to?
I do have some things on YouTube. Some of my I don't even really. I think you just find me on YouTube for Viki Zarkin. Um, my Facebook is I am the one Viki / and I am on Instagram and Twitter. Twitter is I am the one, and Instagram is I am the one Viki. So a lot of my different videos and things like that are put up on all those different platforms of social media.
Well, I have one final question for you. I'll let Dr. JACALYN follow up right after that. But why did it take you 10 years to write the book?
Well, my kids were little, and it's a really good question because when I was at the beginning, I started a blog, and um, I had actually a quite popular blog, and I was writing very truthfully about a lot of the things that I was going through. And at one point, my kids came to me and they said, we want to spend more time with you. You're spending too much time on the blog. And I instantly flipped out. And because I was surviving for my kids to spend time with my kids, and I wasn't doing it properly. So I stopped everything for quite a bit of time while they were little, and devoted my time to spend with my children. And, that was the greatest gift God ever gave me. Raising those children was the greatest gift I was ever received. So, my daughter was about a year. She was a senior. She was my youngest, about to start college. It was COVID. It was a perfect time to start the book. I was thinking about it for a long time, and I knew I would need something to do when she started college in a year, because I would not be a good empty nester at all. So, long story answer. I apologize, but that's really why it took me 10 years.
Well, I'm super excited because the book is coming on Saturday. Yay!
Yay! I'm so thrilled. Thank you. You'll have to let me know what you thought of it.
I definitely will. I'll have you back.
Okay,
We'll
I
have you on
appreciate that.
Adversity to Awesome, one of our other shows.
You got it. I would love to.
Fabulous.
I just want to spread the word. I want to help as many women as possible. You can log on to any of my websites and offer me help, and I'll, accept any help, any advice, anything. I'd love for people to hire me to speak, because I can spread the word to a larger group of people, capture the attention. And that's really another reason why I wrote the book. It's a bigger platform for me to stand on, because I'm only 5 foot and I want to be able to help as many women as I can.
What you're doing is truly honorable and commendable. Thank you so much. And I'm glad that you were here today and that we heard part of your story and that I bought the book and that we'll have you back again and whatever we can do to help you in your mission.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I really do.
Thank you. All right, Viki, I'm just going to spotlight you one more time for you to share with people who are listening on the radio. They can't read the banner, the people on the TV can, but how can people purchase the book and how can people get in contact with you if they need someone to chat with, someone to talk about how to advocate for themselves?
Well, the title of my book is I Am the One, How a Lunge Across the Room Launched a Women's Fight Against Cancer. And you can get that on my website, IamTheOne.com. Or you can purchase it from Amazon or Barnes & Noble, all the major bookstores. You can get it online. And I can be reached, of course, on that same website, IamTheOne.com, or by email, IamTheOne.Viki, and that's VIKI, @gmail.com. And of course, everybody can reach out to me, as I mentioned, on Twitter or Instagram, all the I Am the One Viki. You can find me that way. Facebook, I'm also on. And in fact, I'm going to be doing a book signing here in Harrisburg at the Barnes & Noble on the 25th of June from 1 to 3. And I'm speaking in Florida at the IAOTP event in West Palm Beach, and I'll be there July 23rd. I'll be speaking there at the Eau Palm Resort. So I'm keeping busy, but I sure would like help from anybody else speaking jobs. Please buy my book and help out with my organization, lungeforhealthcare.org.
Thank you so much. And you must have a great publicist.
Oh, I kind of have a big mouth myself, so together, we're pretty dynamic.
Fantastic. And thanks to Ed Katz. We really appreciate it. And we're going to close out the show now. So Viki, thank you so much for being here. Red actually has a show right after this. If you want to watch, it's Stress and Health. Yeah, so you can go to our YouTube channel or any of the channels where we stream. So thank you again. I look forward to reading your book and having you back.
Thank you. Thank you. So nice to meet you all.
Nice to
Bye
meet you
now.
too. Thank you.
Bye.
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 Red, I'm going to spotlight you. And if you can just share with our audience what they can expect to hear from your presentation today.
Certainly. And the first thing I want to say is that I put all my contact information on my website, redolaughlin.com. That's red like the color REDOLAUGHLIN. So if you pop up on that front page, it's going to be there in big bold letters at the top of the page. Can't miss it. So if you need to get in touch with me, my email and my phone number is there. And today we're talking about stress. It's the first of several segments. We're going to talk about what is stress and how does it affect your health. And as we go through that process, we'll talk about various things that are stress relieving. But right now, we need to figure out exactly what is stress and understand it so that when we're able to recognize we may not feel the stress, but we can recognize the situation that we're in order to say, I may have a problem. I need to go to the doctor. Just like we just got finished here with the breast cancer. It's one of those ones that, yeah, if you have something, it doesn't feel right, go to the doctor. And that's what we're doing today is defining exactly what is stress and looking at some of the causes so we can figure out, are you in a situation that may be impacting your health? And that's what we're talking about.
Thank you very much. And Red, I did share earlier that you're going to be leading, monitoring, hosting, I'm saying moderating and hosting a health panel. And there's an opportunity for people to get involved. We'll give them the details if they're interested, but please give a little bit of information about the kind of panelist, what kind of attributes or experience you're looking for people to join this panel.
Yes, we're looking for not the standard medical answer to a problem. We have experts in various fields of nutrition, alternative medicine, fitness. There's a lot of different ways that we go about. My particular end of things, I like to research the human body at the cellular level. I want to know the chemical reactions going on. What can I do to speed this one up, or what can I do to shut that one down? So that's my view on things. So as I look at a particular aspect of health and wellness, that's what I'm going to project. That's the information I'm going to give. But other people out there have different views of that same thing. And so as we have I view this thing as I'll put out several questions that will say, okay, this week we're going to talk about the answers to these questions. And here are the questions so that people have a chance in advance to know what we're going to be doing. And then each person is going to give their perspective. So if you are an expert in some area of health and wellness that you would like to be on a program for 26 weeks and be able to provide your knowledge, your value to the audience, and also be able to advertise what books or services that you have, then that's part of the program, because we will definitely allow you a couple minutes to talk about yourself and whatever. But please, if you have a question whatsoever, my information is on redolaughlin.com. Contact me there or contact Dr. JACALYN.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And I'll let you go over to the other studio, and I'll be there shortly for the Talking Head segment.
Well, I'll get a
Bye
head
for
start
now.
on you. I'll be there and wait for you. Take care.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, for listening, for engaging, for reaching out. I really do appreciate it. I just have one announcement. If you haven't heard it yet, I have come up with the, I think, pretty cool idea to have a game show on USA Global TV and radio, and you'll all get to watch it. Here's the graphic for it. The show is called Who's Listening? And you might think, what is this about? Well, I am on a mission for everyone across the world to become an elevated listener. And what that means is to listen at a higher level. It means to listen without interrupting, to listen without judging, to listen without providing a solution, and to listen without the dreaded stage hogging, where one person's telling the story and the other one chimes in and actually says, oh, I remember I did XYZ, and now they have the floor and you're left feeling unheard. So I have put together a course called The Power of Listening. It's $257. It's 2.5 hours, and you can take it at your leisure. When you take the course, you will watch interactive role plays for various scenarios. And dare I say that you might even see yourself in some of those role plays when you think about what's going on in your own life. That's the feedback that I get over and over again. And even if you think you're an expert listener, you probably are not. And there's always room for us to grow. So my program, Who's Listening, is really for, I'm putting up the graph again, people who have been certified by me as elevated listeners, and they're members of our elevated listening community. And as I mentioned, this is open to every person across the world who wants to elevate their listening skills. All you have to do is sign up for the Power of Listening. And that Power of Listening course looks like this. You can sign up for it on my website, drjacalyn.com, where I teach people how to listen, and I also coach. I'm also a certified life and career coach, certified meditation teacher, and certified yoga instructor. And my main course, as I mentioned, is this Power of Listening. We have other courses as well where you can learn how to use your voice to actually help you listen to the inner part of you. We have a new course coming out with my partner, Madeline Chan, where we actually have you create a shrine of sorts to get in touch with your spirituality, and you work with plants. And the plants really get us grounded and help us with our listening skills. So as I close out just about how you can get involved, the elevated listening community, you can also find on my website, drjacalyn.com/join. So let's say you've taken the Power of Listening and you have also joined the elevated listening community, which by the way is $11 a month. You get a video that includes a guided meditation. You get fitness tips, listening tips, and you also get excerpts from some of our shows about teaching you things with education. So once you've done that and you have taken the course, you then get a 7-question quiz. When you get 100% on the quiz, you become a certified elevated listener. Your certificate and your headshot go on my website, drjacalyn.com. And then I will also have your headshot put onto USA Global TV as one of our team members. That's right. You will join our team. We currently have 39 people on our team. And that is just the fun part of it. Then you get to be on the game show, as I just mentioned. So we'll look at this again. 2 criteria: become a certified elevated listener, $257, an investment of 2.5 hours of your time. Become a member of the elevated listening community, $11 a month. You get guided meditation, fitness tips, listening tips, and education. And then you get to be part of the game show. The game show is going to be approximately 15 weeks long, and the elevated listeners and community members will be competing against each other. So I will play sound bites, or I will say something, and then we'll go around. People will be in teams, and each team will have a representative. And when the representative doesn't get the question right, they're disqualified, and we move to the other one, sort of like a Family Feud type of environment. And by the end of the 15 weeks, we'll have 3 people remaining, and those 3 people will get to choose from some fabulous prizes, one of which I am offering up is a license to be a talking head expert presenter. Of course, you have to meet the qualifications, which means you have to be in your role for 5 years or more. You have to be looked up to as an expert. You have to be a phenomenal presenter, and you have to be someone who leads with their heart. And the Talking Heads license right now is a retail value of $6,000. So that's another way you can get involved in our platform. So I'm hoping by providing this information, more people will have an interest in upping their listening skills to have better relationships, deeper connections, and more authentic conversations. I look forward to you joining me in that journey. For now, I'm going to sign off and go over and meet Red in the other studio and come back on Talking Heads. Thank you again. Thank you, Viki. Thank you, Ed. Bye.